Hi, this is Soumaya Marose. I'm very happy to be back here to Besalsh show that we have been holding now for months, twice a week, 1 hour show, and we presented in that show the Middle Eastern and North African dance, many different folklores and region, and we talk about that and many topics around that in America and over all the world. And I'm very happy here today to have my beautiful friends and dancer, beautiful talented dancer, Adoara. Hello. Can you tell me a little bit about your background and what did bring you to the dance? And
Sure. I go by Adoara, and I started dancing in 2007 with a company in Iowa, Caraman Dance Company. I danced with them for about 5 years before moving to the Boston area, and since then I've been studying with many different teachers from all over the world that have come to do workshops in Boston and the surrounding area, and it's been about another 5 years now. And I've always had a passion for dance generally, and when I found the Middle Eastern and North African styles, I was very much struck by the grounded feel and the use of the hips and the celebration of femininity, and so I've really pursued it with a great passion. I like other styles of dance as well, but this is what I have studied the most fervently.
Wow. As you know, I am Moroccan, and I was wondering how come a person in the middle of Iowa in America can fall in love with the dance, and what really inspire you?
Well, I'll be honest, a lot of it is to use a problematic word, exotic. So I was interested in it because of how different it is from the culture that I'm from, and I really enjoy studying other cultures. And learning about people all over the world, and I think dance is a really good way to learn about other people, because dance is something that's universal. Every culture has a dance that they do. Every culture has music that makes them want to move and gets them excited. And I actually, I think I was first introduced to this style of dance, I think probably at Renaissance festivals. I used to go to Renaissance festivals when I was younger, and the company that I ended up dancing with for many years in Iowa. So I think that what drew me to it was not just the, not just like, oh, it's so colorful and so pretty, but also just the richness and the background that it comes from, and all the different cultures that it comes from, and how they've like blended and grown up together, and how they're different also. So thank you so much for having me, Soumaya. I'd really love for you to talk about the dances that you did with us today. If you would like to talk about the first couple of dances, first we'll roll the video.
والانسجام الله الله. الليلة دي من حظنا إن الغزل حيكون هنا، الليلة دي من حظنا إن الغزل حيكون هنا. يظهر ويبان أوام أوام، يظهر ويبان أوام أوام. الناس تتجمع ونرقص وتقول يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام، تشوف الفن وتتسمع أحلى شعر.
So the first dance with the purple costume, it was a tableau, what we call, it's kind of a mise en scène, but it's more a tableau where we have two kind of very important, deeper part of, I don't know if I can say it folklore, but they have a baladi which is an Egyptian style of dance. And it's baladi actually is everybody dance baladi in Egypt. And then the second dance was, and in that same dance we had taksim, which means a slide, a taksim of oud. Oud, it's an instrument, a guitar instrument, Arabic guitar instrument. Oud, which means wood, actually.
Oh.
So that's what the first. And so the baladi is an improvisation and dance. And the taksim is really to express your feeling and your deepness. The second dance that I did, which was with the costume, the pink dresses, I did actually two dance with that. One, it was a pop song from haifa wahab called Ya waldi ya hliwa anta wahashni, and it's a song more like fun. So I wanted to translate this little cute girl that she's living on the field and she's waiting for like her boyfriend actually, and like trying to represent this femininity and this flirting little bit because she misses him a lot. And then the second dance was actually a baacheck, that is a classical song, which means I am all for you, like you, everything it's for you. I don't really know how we explain that, sorry. But that song is also a classical song and has a lyric, but in that song the violin was replacing the lyric, and I was trying to give the feeling and expressing the lyric in the song.
So, so yeah, you did a wonderful job, and I really enjoyed all the pieces you did. The emotion that you convey when you dance is always just so beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sal's show is your show. So if you want to be on Sal's show, just contact this address.
So I would like to know what is your first dance that you're gonna present us, and like why you choose that dance particularly. And before that, let's watch it. Let's roll the video.
سألولي عليه وقالولي ازاي بعد ما فرحني الشام في عزولي ازاي بعد ما فرحني الشام في عزولي لا اقدر على بعضه ابدا ولا حيفش بعده ابدا لا اقدر على بعضه ابدا ولا حيفش بعده ابدا يا ما ناديته وانت ركيته يا ما ناديته وانت ركيته انه يرد شويه ابدا ما بيسالش ما بيسالش ما بيسالش عليا ابدا
بيسألش عليا أبدا ولا بتشوف عينيا أبدا
يا ما ناديته وانت ركيته يا ما ناديته وانت ركيته انه يرد شويه ابدا ما بيسالش ما بيسالش ما بيسالش عليا ابدا
So the first piece I did, I apologize, the name is escaping me at the moment, but it's sort of a more Méjean style dance also. It's an intro style dance that is a sort of a blend of Egyptian and Lebanese style. And it was one that I was introduced to by a teacher of mine that I really enjoy, and the reason I chose it was because it does have, as Soumaya was saying with her pieces, it has the sort of balance of the sort of the melody in this case, and then a little bit slower parts as well. And so I like pieces that have a little bit more of that folksy feel, and this one was very much influenced by the Egyptian folkloric style. So the costume that I was wearing was the sort of orange lace, and then the blue over that, and that dress style is very typical of actually the southern region of Egypt called the Saidi region. So I had, you might have seen me do some shoulders and a little bit more bouncy steps. So that is typical of that region, and then blending it with the little bit slower, more emotional parts. And that particular song, that version that I did with the lyrics, I've danced to it many times without the lyrics, and that was the first time I did it.
Wow, your costume was really, really beautiful and like matching your hair, actually.
Thank you.
And it was really beautiful to watch, and we can see a lot in your dance that there is a lot of vocabulary and study. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow. Sal show is your show. If you want to be in that show, contact this address right here.
So thank you so much for having me, Soumaya. I'd really love for you to talk about the dances. First, we'll roll the video.
الحبايب والأهل والأصحاب والوادي وبلادي ورقصني يا جدع وحشاني يا ليالي الأهل والأصحاب يا عيني يا ليلي ليه بينا غياب وحشاني يا ليالي الأهل والأصحاب يا عيني يا ليلي ليه بينا غياب ويا وادي يا حلوة انت وحشني مشتاقة قوي قوي انت وحشني
that I did is a Moroccan, it's not Moroccan actually, it's a piece from Warda Jazeera, which is a big singer that influenced actually my life. I grew up with her, her music and her songs, and she often sang classical song that now they are really famous since she passed away. There's people like dancers start to dance over her dance song and everything. She's a legend in the Middle East and North African. And actually, her name is Warda Jazeera. Warda is a rose. That's her name, and Jazeera because she's from Algeria. But she was living in the Middle East all her life, almost all her life. She lived in, I think in
Lebanon.
Yeah, I don't remember, but like in this area, in Lebanon or Jordan, I don't really remember.
Sal's show is your show. So if you want to be on Sal's show, just contact this address. So thank you so much for having me, Soumaya. I'd really love for the next piece that you did in the black dress. It was a pretty different style than the other ones. Did you want to talk a little bit about that one? Maybe we should watch a bit of it first. So please roll the tape.
سنين محبتنا وبيغدروا في ثانية. يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة عالدنيا. يا خسارة يا خسارة على ناس ما يشهيها. سنين محبتنا وبيغدروا في ثانية. يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة عالدنيا. يا خسارة يا خسارة على الناس ماشية. حيدور تتمنوا ايامنا يجي عليكوا الدور زي احنا ما هنا. بكره زمن حيدور تتمنوا ايامنا يجي عليكوا الدور زي احنا ما هنا. يا خساره عليكوا يا ناس، يا خساره عالإخلاص، يا خسارة عليكوا يا ناس، يا خسارة عالإخلاص. بيبيعوا عشرتنا وبينسوا دنيتنا، بيبيعوا عشرتنا وبينسوا دنيتنا. وسنين محبتنا سنين محبتنا وبيغدروا في ثانية. يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة عالدنيا. يا خسارة يا خسارة على ناس ماليش ليا. يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة عالدنيا. يا خسارة يا خسارة على ناس ماليش ليا. بيبيعوا عشرتنا وبينسوا دنيتنا، بيبيعوا عشرتنا وبينسوا دنيتنا. وسنين محبتنا سنين محبتنا وبيغدروا في ثانية. يا خسارة يا خسارة يا خسارة.
But the song that I used today, it's a song that she has a North African rhythm, more like Maghribi style, so which means it's more of Morocco or Algeria. And I feel like it was honoring from her after that much time, honoring from her, like coming back to the roots. And I like to dance that song because it's classical. It's kind of a classical, I would say. This is how I perceive it. It's my interpretation, a classical Maghribi style. So this is why I decided to have like a proper costume. Like it's kind of, I'm expressing the art form of what she did, and the lyrics are very deep and very emotional and strong. And so I hope I could give that feeling. And I used really the dance was based on Moroccan step and style.
A very beautiful piece. The music was incredible, and the rhythm, you could definitely feel the difference. And I loved in your dance how you blended. You could see the blend of the more Maghribi folkloric styles with the more classical movements. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Next stop on Salsho, we have Adoara here. Can you tell me a little bit about your dance with the cane, please? I would love to know more about that and the costume that, like what you were dressing over you, please. Before you start, let's watch the video.
So that song was Dar Ya Dar, and it's played with a mizmar, which is a very Egyptian like flute horn instrument. It has that like sort of high nasal sound to it, but it's also very typical from the southern region, the Saidi region of Egypt. And the cane is actually, it's called the khssara, and it's a dance form that came out of what actually a style of martial art that the men do. Most of the men in this region have a cane that they walk around with, and they do a martial arts style called taktib. And the raksasaya dance is sort of a mimicry, not a mockery, but sort of a mimicking and a more feminized version of what the men do. And so that also went with the costuming that I was wearing, which is the white robe is called a galabaya, and it is also, I was wearing the men's style, but then the hip scarf around it was popularized by an Egyptian dancer named Fifi Abdo, who put on the men's galabaya, put on a hip scarf, and then did her very feminine movement. So it was sort of a statement about like men and women in Egypt, and how she could take ownership of that masculine side as well, but make it more feminine. So that was sort of my what I was channeling. So again, I used some of the more bouncy movements, a little bit of the more folkloric style, as well as the cane spinning is very typical, and the holding it above your head in sort of that power pose is a more masculine style as well. So
I would like to know, are you performing somewhere where people want to see you dance and enjoy the beautiful different things that you have to offer to us?
I perform regularly once a month at the Middle East nightclub in Cambridge, Sunday nights. They have dancers every Sunday, so check it out. And occasionally I'll dance at some of the other community events that other dancers host.
And do you have a website?
I am on Facebook, so if you're interested in seeing some of my promotional, you can find me at Bri Adoara, Briadora, 2 words, on Facebook. So.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
I would love to know what you will call your dance. What do you feel about the belly dance term?
So that's a very complicated question. Usually when people ask me what style of dance I do, whoever I'm addressing will determine what terminology I use. I try most of the time to say that I do Arabic style dance, because that's primarily what I've studied. Dances from Egypt and Lebanon and now Morocco, which is a blend of Arabic and other cultures. But occasionally I will use the term belly dance with a Westerner who maybe doesn't know the scope of, just because I want to study the dance of the culture. And the term belly dance is a Western term that was created from people from America and from Britain and from France going to these countries and seeing the dance, and they gave it this name because that's how they interpreted what they saw. But I really want to convey and learn the dance from the eyes of people from the culture. So if I am speaking to someone who knows a little bit more about it, I'll say that I do raqs sharqi, which is dance of the East. It's a term that a lot of people from the culture use. And I also will say that I do folkloric Arabic styles, because that's something that I've studied a lot of as well. So again, I might name some of the countries that I study dance from, in general.
Oh, thank
Does
you.
that answer your
Very
question?
beautiful. Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Very.
So next up, we both did a dance together, so we'll cut to that video.
تحية الأوركسترا شارية، تحية لك أملاوي، تحية القماص. محل الزنا العمل، محل الزنا، محل الزنا منات العينين، محل الزنا العمل، محل الزنا، محل الزنا منات العينين، محل الزنا العمل، محل الزنا، محل الزنا السيف محني الزلمونات العينين محني الزين العمر محني الزين محني الزلمونات العينين يا لله يا هدك دمال معك يا العمر محني السيف محني الزلمونات العينين محني الزين العمر محني الزين محني الزلمونات العينين محني السيف محني الزلمونات العينين محني الزين العمر محني الزين محني الزلمونات العينين ومحني الزين العمر محني الزين محني الزلمونات العينين محني الزين العمر محني الزين محني الزلمونات العينين هي ابتسام يا هي شكور إخلاص هو شرير مكر من دواري هو شرير مكر من دواري المحبة اللي جبتي يا عيني المحبة اللي جبتي يا الدنيا والليلة بابا اللي نسيت يا والليلة بابا اللي هو شرير مكر من دواري هو شرير مكر من دواري المحبة اللي جبتي يا عيني المحبة اللي جبتي يا الدنيا والليلة بابا اللي نسيتي يا والليلة بابا اللي هو شرير مكر من دواري هو شرير مكر من دواري المحبة اللي جبتي يا عيني المحبة اللي جبتي يا الدنيا والليلة بابا اللي نسيتي يا والليلة بابا اللي هو شرير مكر من دواري هو شرير مكر من دواري المحبة اللي جبتي يا عيني المحبة اللي جبتي يا الدنيا والليلة بابا اللي نسيتي يا والليلة بابا اللي يا خويا شهاد يا الحبيب عليا خويا شهاد يا
The dance that we did together is a style that I learned from you. So why don't you talk a little bit about what we did?
So the dance that we did is a Shabi style from north of Morocco. The music, Mahazin al-Amar. It's a song, actually a Shabi Arabic style, I will say, and it's very classical, and it's more like, I will say, song that we're gonna play in parties like weddings or things like that, and it's very elegant style. And I love it.
You love it?
So now we're gonna close the show, and it was such a pleasure to have you, Adoara. Thank you very much for being here and sharing with us your passion and love for the dance. And I think this is what is very beautiful, is to be connected with the same passion, of course. And thank you, Sal, to having us, and we see you soon.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I very much enjoyed dancing with you and performing for everyone.